Now, we'll get into it, and I'd like to welcome Brad, Karen, and Jane. And Brad, I might start with you. A big welcome to WEmersion.
Thanks, Tom. Terrific to be here with everyone. I'm at risk of going over, so I'm going to dive straight into
Okay, yeah,
it.
drive straight in, that's fine. We're going to start with that purpose.
Really, it's talking about our purpose. I'm very sensitive to the fact that we release our H1 results next Wednesday, so we will have a town hall there and talk about our financial performance and more holistically about our strategic performance. So please join us for the town hall next Wednesday. What I wanted to do in this session was just give some colour to our achievements in the first half, in particular at Christmas time, and a little bit of a view of the outlook going into 2024. But before I do that, I always like to come back and anchor into the purpose. And to me, our purpose is a living purpose. Our purpose is right, but what the emphasis is definitely changes based on where we are in the context of our cycle. And so I just wanted to start there, and we'll dive into Christmas. I think we can all agree it was a pretty tough start to the year with some of the challenges we had with the Senate inquiry announced in early December, and then of course around Australia Day and some of the media controversy that went around it. So I thought it was very important for me to talk about that first, and then, as I say, come back to some of the great achievements at Christmas. But if I look at our purpose, here it is. We create better experiences for a better tomorrow. When I come back to that for me in the last 4 weeks, it's been pretty tough actually on we. We are very focused on belonging and inclusion at Woolworths, and that is the key on all of our decision making. But I think it can be fair to say that the way that we communicated Australia Day, or the way we were portrayed to communicate it, was not quite where we wanted to be. And there was sort of a lot of controversy and a lot of learnings. A number of our customers who felt in some way we had disrespected Australia Day, and some of our team who felt the same. On the other hand, we needed to be sensitive to the fact that Australia Day meant different things to different portions of our team. Sure. So it was a pretty tough one, but I think we can agree we didn't get it quite as right as we would have liked, and more on that going forward, Tom. So we are committed to be inclusive and are committed to the topic of belonging, but how we do it needs to be a bit more thoughtful, a bit more, making sure being inclusive to one team, we don't alienate another team. So that was my key learning around that portion of our purpose. The second thing, by the way, and you're going to see a lot of this in the Senate inquiry and all of these other inquiries that are going on, and they make for great media. And unfortunately for our team, for everyone watching this, you're going to end up at barbecues or dinner tables where people are going to ask you a lot of questions around Woolworths. And I find them very challenging questions to be asked and somewhat unfair, but you're all going to be asked them. We'll share a lot more material with you. But from my perspective, when we talk about better in the context of all of these conversations, better is about us doing the right thing for our customers, of course, firstly, but also for our suppliers, for our team, and for our shareholders. And the real trick, and we'll come back to this end, is how we ensure we balance all four of those stakeholder groups, and that's the key for us. And when you read the media, there's a lot of preferencing of one versus the others, and we've got to get the balance right, and that's what we're trying to do, and it'll be our challenge for the next 12 months. When I come to experiences, look, everyone's watching us right now, and we just have to acknowledge that as well with all these inquiries and what happened in Australia. I mean, there's a lot of people studying us at the moment, and that means that every moment becomes incredibly important for all of us, and they're all meaningful moments in how we show the best of Woolworths, because Woolworths is a very caring, very committed organisation, and we're absolutely committed to doing the right thing. So our moments in store or digitally or in our town halls or our engage with suppliers, any stakeholder meetings, has become more important than ever. So those meaningful moments are key for us right now, because when we engage and we execute, people see the real Woolworths, and I think that addresses some of the comments we see out there. Yeah. Together really is, we're always about being together, but it is a tough time, and so depending where you are in the business, there's going to be stresses and strains, and just like in COVID, we need to care for each other. As many of you will know, a couple of weeks ago, I had a very tough week actually, and I felt I'd sort of let the team down in some of the communications and didn't feel good about it. Was relatively unhappy about the way some things were portrayed. But I really appreciated the way everyone else reached out and cared for me as well. And I've had a week's off, so I'm full of energy and I'm back. I'm over it. But it was really important, and I think it's important for all of us that we reach out, because every one of us is going to have a moment of stress in the next couple of months. There's no question on that. It's how we as a team engage and help each other. And lastly, of course, better tomorrow. Never lose sight of the fact that we are committed to building a better group. That's what we're about. We're 100 years old, 100 years young, I should say. It's our centenary, and we're all committed here to building a better tomorrow, and a better tomorrow is a better group. And we are very sensitive to the fact we stand on the shoulders of those who went before us, and we're here to provide a better starting position for those that go ahead of us. So we're always committed to living our purpose. Those are the key things for me in the context of our purpose in the last month. Yeah. But I'm going to transition very quickly from there to talk about the achievements in the first half, because there were many achievements in the first half. We'll hopefully celebrate them a lot more recognize them next Wednesday. But I just wanted to go through the group and just sort of call out the various strategic achievements in the group. And pardon me as you watch this if I miss anything, because one of the delights in my job is reading about all our achievements in the group, and there are so many, it's impossible to do it in a very short space of time. So my apologies if I go around the world in 5 minutes. Everyone should hopefully know what our group purpose is. It's sitting in the middle there, and I just want to talk to each part of the group as the group strategy. I'll talk to each part of the group if I can in turn. Just want to start with Woolworths Retail. We always start with Woolworths Retail. It is the cornerstone of our business, of which everything else revolves around it. I think we would agree that if I looked at the highlights in Woolworths Retail at Christmas time, the two that stood out for me really were unbelievable availability. And you might say, oh, that's not that exciting. It's pretty basic. But actually, there's nothing that is more important in team sport than availability, because everyone needs to work in harmony to get the product on the shelf and have great shelf edge availability, and it's the epitome of great teamwork to me. So that was key to me. I'll show you some data on it. Care, of course, held fantastically well as well. Other call-outs were real strong growth in e-commerce. We continue to grow very strongly in e-commerce. That's not true for many retailers around the world, but the difference for us is that most of our growth is coming out of same-day e-commerce, and that is very hard to do. And again, it goes back to the team. You cannot execute same-day e-commerce without a team that really works better together, because our store teams and the way they need to pick and store, the whole way that we need to sequence our logistics, it's very challenging. And I think, again, a great case study on how we're working together. And then the third one I really just wanted to call out here was it's kind of good to have Woolworths on both sides of the Tasman. And Woolworths was founded in New Zealand in 1929, and it's great to see us with now 43 rebranded Woolworths stores in New Zealand, and to have the brand on both sides of the Tasman. Slightly different personality as it should be is terrific. And most pleasing to me on that is when we rebrand back to Woolworths in New Zealand, we are seeing customers give us slightly higher Vox scores and slightly higher sales scores. And so it's great. And that says a lot about our team in New Zealand and the way that they're engaging and embracing the rebrand. So very cool. Many other great achievements. I should just mention Milk Run has now done 1 million orders. I think that's just a great, for a small business in the group, that is not a trivial number. And obviously it's another extreme version of same day. I want to move from Woolworths Retail if I can. And as I say, we'll talk a lot about more of the financials there in next Wednesday, to the Woolworths Food Company. Just talk about a couple of the highlights and achievements there. I think when you look at Christmas, the Woolworths Food Company, in partnership with Woolworths Supermarkets and Woolworths Metro stores, delivered a terrific Christmas range. Brilliant sell-through, I think somewhere around 92-94%. Great resonance in the range, very innovative. Real build on the ones we had last year. And what we want to know, having our stores are unique products that you can only find in Woolworths. I think it was true this Christmas, and it was a material build in last Christmas, and it was just great to see in the way it was done in partnership, let's say, between the various parts of the group. I need to call out PFD, which is the food service part of our group, in partnership with the Smith family, had very strong growth for the half. One of the highest growth numbers you'll see reported next Wednesday. And last but certainly not least, Greenstock, our meat business. A lot of conversation around meat, as we know right now, but the capabilities we're starting to build on the way we manage the end-to-end supply chain in meat, really, really impressive and key to us delivering value to customers in this essential part of the centre of plate. So a lot going on there, but really great achievements across the group in the Woolworths Food Company as well. Moving on to W Living, which is the newest part of our group. We used to actually, if you looked at the slide last year, put W Living in construction. It's no longer in construction. It's now part of the group. I think we'd all agree. And of course, sitting the key platform in W Living is Big W. And a relatively challenging half for Big W, as everyone knows, with discretionary spending compressing and the impact on department stores and discount department stores. But it was great to see the way we try and continue to keep focus on executing against our plan. What's happening to Big W is we're still building great traffic in the store, but it's the trading down that's really impacting the sales line. Dan will talk about it next Wednesday, but we've held our nerve, and you'll see that in our customer scores and in our team scores, and I think that's a great achievement to really keep focus on what matters when things are challenging for us. And another new part of the group is what business joined us last year called MyDeal, but we now have Woolworths Market Plus, which is our marketplace part of the business that complements our in-store range to give a full range of customer products, really important digitally. As you look overseas, you see in, say, the US, 40% of all retail sales in the US are 3P or marketplace sales. And so it's critical to our long-term future, and it's great to have MyDeal in the group. And even better, we launched Big W Market. And again, that's running at just over $1 million a week. There's a lot of millions in my presentation, Tom. And what's important there is it's really helping our online proposition in Big W, another team exercise. Healthy Life is our specialty health business that really tries to help our customers live healthier lives, advice and products, and very importantly for us now, ability to, in partnership with Super Pharmacy, provide pharmacy solutions for those customers that need us. In the height of COVID, we really wanted to make sure those vulnerable customers could get everything they needed to be healthy and safe at home, and we couldn't provide this range of products. Now in partnership with Healthy Life, Super Pharmacy, we can. And last but not least, who let the dogs out? Petstock has joined the group. It took a long time. We really care about them being in the group. It's terrific. We have a great pet business already in Woolworths supermarkets, but the key for us here is that there's a lot of specialty products that suppliers won't give to us in supermarkets and are key for us to have in our group, because we as a country in Australia and in New Zealand have more pets per head of population than any other country in the world. I find that amazing. I love it. Of course, I'm all in on dogs and cats, yep. And it's nice to have them in the group, and they really do round out our offering and bring W Living to life. Talking about our platforms, and these are often the unsung heroes of the group. Their role is to work with every other part of the group to really help us deliver for our customers. So they work in partnership with the rest of the group. And I'm going to do them a disservice, again, as I have with every other part, but just some of the highlights. I think Primary Connect, getting back into rhythm, it's shown in the shelf availability, but also in the underlying productivity of Primary Connect. A really strong 6 months, our best 6 months in a productivity and a service sense since pre-COVID. So well done to that team. Given last year, I think we had 170 days of weather disruption in Australia, so not a trivial exercise. Inside WIC, we've now got WIC Consumer, which helps us sell consumer insights to our partners. Really important, because our partners then can sell us more interesting products that we can retail through our business. I'd like to then also just call out, pardon me, Cartology, our media business, in December won the opportunity to sell all of the screen media inside Vicinity Centres, which is the biggest group of 33 different centres in Australia, Chadstone being one of them. Terrific opportunity for us, continue to evolve how we think about media. And last but not least, we did a twofer when we bought Milk Run. We got the name Home Run. And what Home Run is, it's one of our newest businesses in the group. It manages the last mile for us, from our stores or our CFCs to our customers. It's the primary connect of the last mile, and it's up and running, and just some terrific early results. So each part of our group really is working together and really contributing to what we do. And most importantly then is, the one thing that stitches all of these groups together is Everyday Rewards, critical source of data and insights. And of course, our best customers are our members. There's no question on that. And we've just done a lot of work again in partnership with all the other parts of the group on Everyday Rewards. Everyday Rewards launched in New Zealand last week. Some amazing numbers in the launch. In fact, I think we were overwhelmed in our customer contact center with people trying to find out how to get cards, and it was really amazing to see. And it's great to have Everyday Rewards on both sides of the Tasman so that our customers can earn points in New Zealand and Australia. I think it's just amazing. Members, I should say, cool. I need to talk about member prices now in stores, Big W supermarkets. Really critical, another reason for people to scan their card. Yep. The more you scan the card, the more you think like a member. So it's great to have that live and working. We rebranded Woolworths Mobile to Everyday Mobile and had terrific growth in our mobile business in January. And so it's nice to be over, I think, close to 500,000 people now using Everyday Mobile, which is terrific. And last but not least, Everyday Extra. Everyday Extra for team is really important. I hope you're all using it, getting something out of it. We've now launched the same program for members. And I'm pleased to say that we've seen incredibly strong growth. I think we're just over 300,000 people have now bought Everyday Extra, and they get a version of what all our team gets, but it's critical for us in that big shop, which could be tempted to go somewhere else, that they use us. So real progress across the group. Hopefully everyone knows they've made a contribution. And the nice thing is each piece of this makes the rest stronger. But of course, at the center of it are our customers and our team, and I'll show you a bit of data on that. We did a good job for our customers in Christmas, but we as a team actually, I think, did better than that. And I don't know that's a bad thing. Let me just quickly show you that. Look, Christmas, as I say, I wanted to just give a call out for the fact it's amazing across our group still that we can have Vox scores on care that are over 80 and are consistently over 80 despite all the stresses and strains and media and so on that are out there. And then to see an improvement in our out-of-stock scores, we'd like to get them higher, of course, but just great improvements. So I just think outstanding from our team on those two key issues. I just wanted to show you the e-commerce numbers, 25% growth year on year and 74% growth on same day. So that just says it all to me. And just the way we've changed and challenged the paradigm of when we cut off for same day orders. And I think just one of the great exercises in creativity across stores and X, just brilliant. Just needs to call out the space race in apps, and they've become so important. One thing that's interesting, I'm sure many of you have heard of Temu. It's amazing that a business that didn't exist 18 months ago has the biggest active app users in Australia. Incredible, and we need to keep an eye on them. But what's interesting to me is if you look, we are number 3 in Everyday Rewards, number 4 in supermarkets or food, and then we get down to Big W and Milk Run. What's interesting is if you add all of those together, we're by far the biggest, and that's our challenge. We've got great resonance in each one of these apps, but how do we get them to work together? Because if we do that, we really do start leading with customer engagement outside of the store. Engagement outside of the store does lead to sales in the store. So it's both amazing achievements in our growth rate, but it's also about how we now take the next step forward and really work together as a team on those different apps. As I say, we did a great job for our customers, but this to me was the ultimate achievement at Christmas, this lift in advocacy. And Karen, I know you'll come back and talk about that. We continue to have our challenges and opportunities in the space. I think we can agree, but it was lovely just to see the way it grew. And I've said it in my videos, but I'll say it again now and I'll say it next week. Thank you everyone for the great achievements we did in December, and thank you for your continual advocacy on our behalf as a business. And I hope you all had a good break, and sure, it does feel like a long time ago since Christmas. So let me just talk about the challenge going forward. It's fair to say it's going to be a tough 12 months. That started with Australia Day in truth, but it ain't going to stop for the next 12 months. That doesn't mean we need to feel negative. We need to be cautiously optimistic, but highly focused in what we do. There are two themes that are really building on each other. It's price fatigue amongst customers. The cost of living is not a new issue for our customers, given the inflation. In fact, inflation's coming down, so it's not a new issue. But I think people are very fatigued on this issue, and so you just see that fatigue in their way they're talking. I know, Jane, you'll talk a little bit more about our customers in a minute. And then there's all the current work that's going on with a number of regulatory bodies announcing reviews and sort of gets us out into the press with all of our competitors in a not very positive way. And one sort of builds off the other. And so I just think we need to be willing to embrace and engage on these topics in a very authentic, practical way, listen and learn and adjust as we go. It's not going to be easy, but COVID wasn't easy. Our turnaround in 2016 wasn't easy. As long as we embrace in an authentic way and continue to be focused on the right thing, we'll get through it. But it ain't going to be that easy, I think. And I'll just show you some of the data over here. You'll see our store controllable VOC is generally very good. Obviously some challenges around Australia Day, but it's our value for money scores that you can see are where the challenge is, and they've really dropped away materially. Now they have for our key competitors as well, so this isn't about us, but it is a sense of the industry and how people are feeling about it. And you see those negative scores that are sitting there around value for money, and that's the issue we need to engage on and helping our customers spend less in every possible way we can. But what we're trying to do in that context is this, as we get in our 100th year, is focus on our customers and members and helping them spend less and making sure they can see the amazing value in our stores, because it is incredible. Paying fairly for the goods our suppliers supply us and making sure we get the right balance in that. Focused on our team and safe, secure, meaningful employment. It's key to us. And then, of course, the fair return. And so our challenge is that balance. I'm confident that we are broadly in line with that balance today, but we need to keep a high focus on it going forward. And if we do, we will come through this period stronger than ever and actually more exciting for the next era, the next whatever it is, 100 years, Tom.
Yeah, I was going to say, Brad, I think some headwinds and some challenges ahead, but lots to be excited about. It feels like we've got great momentum and, lots happening within the business.
Well, it always comes back, I think, to that purpose. And the purpose is fit for purpose, guides us. And if we focus in the purpose and the context of these four, we will, as you say, get through this and be stronger at the end than we were at the start.
Great.
So thanks for everyone, for everything you're doing for us. I mean, Karen, the highlight really was about the team. And absolutely. I don't know if there's anything you wanted to add to that.
Oh, look, I think for me, Brad, the importance of keep listening to our team, and I think I will touch on it a little bit. Maybe I should do it now, just from a team safety point of view, what's on my mind. So I think listening to our teams, recognizing our teams are coming under the same pressure as what our customers are from a cost of living perspective. I think what we are seeing, what's very much on our team's minds, is safety. We're having more mentions in our voice of team around safety. And we know when our customers are under pressure, how that turns up in store around, increased acts of aggression, violence. That's very confronting for our teams and certainly on our mind. And I think for me, the biggest thing for us in the next 12 months is we've had a big focus on safety. And I think we for the last few years have been really talking about mental health. I think for us this year, it's around doubling down on physical safety. And I think that, reminding our team that, when we're under pressure, when we've got a lot on, the tendency might be to try and take shortcuts and, get things done quicker. But really what we want them to do is focus on doing things safely, using judgment in the moment around, is this the safe thing, taking care of their own safety, taking care of each other's safety. And I think for me, it just goes back to our value around we care deeply. And we care deeply about the safety of our teams. We care deeply for one another, and we're not going to do physical safety at the expense of mental health. I think it's about balance. Everything in our business comes back to balance, I think, and so just taking care of one another feels really important. And our aspiration is to go from good to great, and every day we can be better. And so this principle of every day do a little bit better, be better, and really just prioritize your own safety. And I think it starts with each of us individually, but also collectively as a team, taking care of each other.
Well, the one thing that has surprised me, we had two fatalities, everyone is aware, last year, and we simply need to therefore take something out of that and really double down on the topic of safety. But in general, most businesses in Australia have had safety issues post-COVID. Yes. And I think I don't use that as an excuse for what happened to us. I mean, we need to take our lessons and we can't undo what's happened. But it says a lot about how we're all mentally thinking about safety and how we're not perhaps thinking enough about personal accountability or taking a shortcut when we shouldn't. And so it's getting the mindset back right around this issue that I think is key in Australian general business, but of course inside Woolworths.
And I think building that muscle, because safety during COVID was all about wearing masks, social distancing, just how we were talking about safety changed during the pandemic, I think, Brad. And now it's reminding ourselves of all of those other aspects that are, equally important. And so I think for me, it's just reminding ourselves. And I think one of the other interesting stats, which I know you're very familiar with, is we introduced the severity rate, which is absolutely, we've got better transparency of reporting. That's trending in the right direction. But the total recordable injury rate is going backwards. And so, what we're seeing is we need to just focus on that. So it's all these small things that I think, count towards a better, safe environment, Brad, and one that we can all actually impact on in a positive way.
Well, and that goes being better together and actually making sure we all remind ourselves of no shortcuts and so on. I think that's great.
Absolutely.
Now, Jane, I think, Tom, I was going to leave to you. Sorry.
No, that's right. No, you just sit back and enjoy the show from here. Karen, we'll have you back a little bit later. We'll talk some of the exciting team events coming up and what's happening in Kellyville Grove. But Jane, tell us how our customers are feeling and what we're doing to continue to listen and act on their feedback.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tom, and very nice to be here at WEmersion. I think we all know this, but the absolute top thing on our customers' minds is the cost of living. And what you're looking at here is on the left-hand side for Australia and the right-hand side New Zealand. Cost of living is, well and truly the number one issue that customers raise. That sat at sort of 4th or 5th position 2 years ago. So it's risen fast, and really housing comes after it in Australia, and crime second in New Zealand. But we've seen that over the last 6 months particularly increase. And when we look at our internal data and we look to understand what's happening within our segments, actually for every one of our segments, this holds true as well. So cost of living Absolutely top of mind for our customers and obviously for us as well. If we think about how is that going to play as we go forward, when we ask customers, 65% of them tell us that they think that this could last 12 months or more and that the pressures won't ease. And actually it is when we look at this data that we see a slight difference in our segments. So our savers customers, many of them think that it could be 2+ years, whereas some of our conscious and gourmet customers expect to see some easing even within 3 months. And I think this really just tells us that across every part of our business, we really need to just keep thinking about how do we help our customers find value with us. The other thing that's really important as we think about, how do we help our customers find value is understanding what are their needs and wants and really, really listening to them. And we do that, we continue to do that across a whole lot of different ways. And I just wanted to take a minute today to talk through some of those. So the Customer Hub is where customers are calling often when they have an issue. And it really is an opportunity for us to turn a potential detractor who's calling with a problem into an advocate for us. But it also is a really great opportunity for us to hear what's on customers' minds and to understand what some of the issues are. So we do that and we feed that back across the business. Voice of Customer, so our various VOC programs, I think most of you will be aware of those. It's worth noting it's available in 4 languages. Our Gather panel, so we have 92,000 panel members who are available for us to ask bespoke questions to, and we often pulse and ask them for their opinions and test things with them. We have our Always On program, so we track brand and reputation and we track consumer sentiment through our Always On, and then we run customer WEmersion. So every month we will have a select group of customers come together and share with us what's in their mind, or we may also test specific questions with them. The last thing I wanted to talk about was really just Group Customer and Team Connect. It's coming up on the 26th of February. The name has changed slightly, so we have purposely shifted from Customer and Team Week to Group Customer and Team Connect. Part of the reason for that is to really refresh the program, but also just to recognise that we represent the full group and we do want to give the different parts of the group flexibility to also activate in their own way. So things like My Woolies Weekend coming to life. So stay tuned for Group Customer and Team Week, Team Connect coming up.
Great. Thank you, Jane. Looking forward to the tweak. I think that's a really great addition. We're going to talk a little bit about My Woolies Weekend later with Natalie as well. So
Excellent.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Brad, great business update. Good to hear what's happening around the group. Like I said, I think a few challenges, but lots to be excited about. So thank you, and we'll kick into the second half of the show. And Luke is just going to take his place. He's going to be hosting Guy, and we're going to talk a little bit about better member and customer experiences. But if you've been on a WEmersion before, you know Luke is one of our resident value hackers, and he's been back at it, doing it all again, this time looking out for the best deals on Valentine's Day. So check this one out.